Well, Coach, two very tough losses against a very good Denver team. What did you see that was the difference both nights?
Well, it was an interesting trip to Denver. We anticipated two very tough games, and that's exactly what it was. Denver's a very strong team. They skate very well. They're technically strong. They attack you, and they were better than we were. I would say by a small margin. They were hotly contested games, physical in nature. They won some puck battles that, when we look at it, might have made differences in both hockey games. Certain phases of our game, we were very strong. Certain parts of the game itself, we carried a lot of the play, but we just didn't sustain it as much as we would have liked, and ended up coming on the losing end of both games. But a lot of good things in terms of the way we played. Certainly, we feel that our team, in comparison to some of the other games that we've had out in Denver in the past, playing against a great team, we were much more competitive, and are very disappointed that we didn't win both hockey games, because certainly the opportunity was there.
Can you use this series as a bit of a barometer, or is it kind of too early in this season to kind of get a feel where you're sitting?
That's a good question, Adam. Where do you sit after you look at these games and you're talking a team that probably now, I think probably they were number 3 last week, with North Dakota losing a couple. It's possible that Denver's number 2. I think Duluth will probably be number 1, which kind of speaks for our league again, that the top 3 teams are from our league. But I think it tells us that we can compete with anybody. That when we're on our game for the full 60 minutes, that there's an opportunity to win every game. And I think there's been a situation probably in the last couple of years where there was a little bit of a hope in the game, in the sense that we needed to be really good, and we had to hope to some degree that our opponents were maybe not playing at 100%, but that's out of the way now. To me, we go into every game knowing that if we play as well as we possibly can, the positive results are there to be grasped, and that's something we're going to focus on. So our belief is strong. We have a great opponent coming in this weekend, which I'm sure is your next question, with Miami, but we'll be ready for that.
I don't even need to come. What do you see from Miami as you get ready to face them?
Miami's a young team, an energetic team. They turned a lot of players over last year. They had a senior-laden team last year, so they're a younger team. But in certain key positions, they've got some veteran experience as well, and they're going to play real hard. They're going to compete. The Miami Bronco hockey games, since I've been here and before that, were always hotly contested, and we expect the same thing here. They lost their second game of their series in the weekend 5-1 to Bowling Green, and you sometimes hope that the other team you're playing next wins both games, particularly when they're not in conference games, because we want our conference to win, so that team is maybe not quite as hungry. But with Miami losing, and then the fact that it's the Broncos they're coming to play, they'll be ready to go, and we need to be that way ourselves.
Now, obviously, last year, losses tended to just run together. How do you keep that from happening this year?
Yeah, last year it was a situation where we got on a roll the wrong direction. I think there was a difference. I think last year, before we started losing some hockey games, we were not playing particularly well. In 6 games this year, we've had an opportunity every night to win. We've played some real good hockey, so there's no reason for us to believe that it should be anything different this weekend. We need to execute for the full 60 minutes, but go into the series with Miami knowing we need to be at our best, and if we are, the opportunity is there to be successful. So I'm more of one that wants to think about us winning this weekend and getting on a streak the other direction.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.